Out. All right. What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's having a good Monday. I want to go over just a few things today. I'm not going to keep it long. Um, we'll keep it short because I know we got a lot to do before Friday. When we go to Reno, really excited about that. That is one of the things I want to talk about today, just to give you guys some direction on how I've found success going to events like this and associating. So, anyway, let's first start with the leaderboards. Let me share my screen. God, I sound like I'm going through you know what again. Okay. All right. On the submitted app report, this is through the 16th. So I think that was Friday. No, Thursday. We got Robert Wilson staying at the top. Number one with 19,653 and 16 new apps. That is strong for being out of the country for 10 days. Jeff Schultz again came through at 12,647 with 16 apps. Tiffany DeBerry, brand new up under Spencer. She's been writing a bunch of HMAs, a bunch of Foresters. She's at $9,272 with 5 apps. We got Mark Sellis on the board at 7,632, 8 apps. Dane Martindale. I mean, you just got me fired up when you came in here just a minute ago. 6858 with 10 apps. We have Brittany Warren on the board with 6,700 with 8 apps. Scott Kustra, 11 apps, 6,500. Vinny Napoli, 8 apps for 6,100. Rob and Ashley Peoples up on the board with 5,680 at 7 apps. I heard Ashley just got licensed too, so I'm expecting that number to double, which is good. Chastity and Jason Garland coming in at number 10 with 10 apps, 5,500 AP. Let's look at our submitted board. Share. Issue paid. Brand new out of Utah, Allison Joseph. Cool story there. $100,000 issue paid with one app. If y'all are wondering how she did that, it is called an annuity. She sold a $1 million annuity. She's got 3 more $1 million annuities coming through. Super pumped for her. Just quick shout out. She was working with a client, helped him out on the final expense side, and then found out that he had just gotten an inheritance for $4 million, connected him with Chris Norris, and it's turned into a $4 million annuity. So simple as asking the questions. Narasima got him a IUL in for $32,764. That number is going to jump again once these new leaderboards come out. So I got paid on another big one. Robert Wilson at 14.5 with 12 apps. Tom Murphy at 12.8 with 5 apps. Chris Lewis, I love seeing his name up there. 12,600 with 2 apps. Jeff Schultz, 12,311 with 14. Sellis on the board with 8,900 with 7 apps. AB on the board with 8,400 with 2 apps. I think that was 2 big IULs. Austin Hughes, that's under Vinny. Let's go, Austin. 7,700 with 1 app. I'm suspecting that was an annuity or an IUL. We got Vinny up on the boards with 6,900 with 5 apps. So there's a snapshot of the rest of the leaderboard. So having a good month so far. I think our team is already, which was not expecting this month. But I think we're already at 3. I think it was 368 or something like that on the month, which is incredible. Thanks to some of those annuities coming through. And it actually seems like some of those annuity conversations that we've been having have had an effect. So I'm excited to see that. If you're not asking those questions, we had a call with BAM. We have a recorded call with BAM, and we also have a recorded call that Jeff Schultz did about finding money in the house. So don't leave money hanging there. I'm telling you, I've seen it so many times where we go behind agents in different hierarchies and we find an annuity because they just simply didn't ask the question. So if you're working A1s, A2s, A3s, RWs, still ask those questions about where their savings are. A lot of people, they have their eyes set on one thing: final expense. They go in there, or mortgage protection. They go in there, they write up the policy, and they get out of there because they get happy years, and they want to get out of there before the client changes their mind, right? So, but don't be afraid to ask those secondary questions. You got annuities, you got critical illness, you got hospital indemnity plans, you got accidental plans. Those are just easy layups to add on premium. Okay. So, let's jump into, I do want to pick some of you guys' brain, just kind of, what you thought of Cancun, but let's do that at the end, if that's okay. And I also want y'all's opinion on another thing too. So let's make this more of an interactive call after I get through these couple of things. First thing I wanted to talk about on this team call was the Reno, right? So we got Reno coming up. I'm hoping I know some people are getting there a little early. I'll get there around Friday. I don't know what time, but I'll be there. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to it for a lot of you guys out there. And just as far as expectations go of what I would do if I were you, I would be we'll have breaks. So you'll have plenty of time to break off and meet new people. But while you're there listening, like you guys have seen the lineup that we have, I get spoiled because two of the best speakers I think that are going to be up there, I share an office with, and I get to hear things that they say all the times. And a lot of the times, the advice that I'm giving you guys is stuff that I'm getting from them that I'm picking up through hearing, or things that I've just tried and it's worked for me. So I would encourage you, like when you show up, be intentional, take notes, right? So like, don't show up and just sit there and lollygag. We're there for a reason, right? It's a business meeting. So you want to be all in at this meeting. You just never know. Like, don't skip meetings because you never know when that one person's going to say something that clicks for you. I've seen it time and time again. And so I know there's a lot of temptations in Reno, like gambling, which I'm going to have a easy time with. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. But when you're meeting out there, so when you're going up to people and introducing yourself to them and getting their numbers and stuff, just things that I find that help, right? Before you jump straight into business, try to get to know them a little bit. Try to ask them questions about their family, their background, right? You want to find out a little bit about them. So they'll be more open to talking to you. They don't want to just like when if you were in Cancun, like you don't want to just walk up to somebody and start pinging them with questions, right? It's the same thing at Reno. When you're at Reno, you want to get to know the person, you want to know their background. And how does that help us? That helps us in a lot of ways, but recruiting specifically. So one, you're getting to know them, they're going to like you. What do they like talking about? Themselves, right? So now they're going to like you. When you have questions about sales, maybe you didn't ask them something at Reno. Well, now you can pick up the phone. They know exactly who you are, right? And same thing when it comes to recruiting. If I'm talking to somebody, like if you guys have ever noticed, if I can't relate to that person, I get them on the phone with somebody who can relate to them. I use it as an example all the time, but if it's a single mom, right? I don't have kids and I'm not single. So I have a tough time relating to their schedule. But if I can get them to talk to somebody who, like Stephanie Rodriguez, that's doing 40, 50 grand a month, and then they can relate much better. And they're saying, if they can do it, I can do it. I can figure this thing out. Same thing like Robert Wilson. You're a great example for military, right? You come from military background, and it's really easy to connect somebody with you and for them to understand. Like y'all have a different mentality than me. I've never been in the military. I've never been shot at, right? Besides like paintball, but that's a lot different. So anyway, get to know them a little bit before you dive in, and make sure you get their phone number. Send them your phone number or send them a text. Make sure they lock in your number. Maybe even take a picture on their phone and save it with your icon of you two at Reno together. So don't because I feel like it's very easy to get into this comfortable pocket where we're only talking to each other. And I want you guys interacting with each other and hanging out, because I think that's like the team building aspect of it. But don't get too comfortable in that setting. Like be okay with branching off and going to meet people in other organizations because they know a lot. So just make sure that you're not staying within your comfortable bubble of the people that you know. Branch off, go get to know some people. It will help you in the long run. Anybody that's been to conventions before have any other advice on top of that?
Yeah, I do.
Talk for a second.
Yeah, I do, Brandon.
Shoot.
I'll help you with your struggling with your voice. First of all, another thing too is, too many times you see people in the back of the conference or having their own little powwow meetings in the back of the conference and talking a little bit loud and talking, maybe the people in the back near them can't hear the speakers up on the stage and stuff like that. When you're there, don't be, if you're not up on stage, it's because for a reason. You're not the one who has the credibility. The person who's up on stage has a credibility. When you want to get up on stage, you want people to pay attention to you. So just give them the courtesy that you would want to give, that you would want to have if you were up on stage. Give them the same courtesy. And don't have any meetings in the back. Get towards the front. Get towards the front because that's where the action, the heat is. That's where the intensity is. That's where the fun time is and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be, the guy in the back or the girl in the back. When I was in high school, it was cool to be in the back of the bus. It was cool to be in the back of the class, mocking the teacher and all that. But we're grown adults now. So you want to get towards the front. You want to get towards the people. Bring pen and paper or bring your voice recorder and your phone, especially if you're new agents. Andy Albright always says, get to know people before you need to know them. Like you were saying earlier, Brandon. So, if you go there and you're wondering how you can write a lot of annuities, you get around the top annuity producers. If you want to know how you can write some IULs, get around, Tom Murphy and Sue Love, and they can tell you how to write a lot of IULs and stuff like that, and get their number and network with them, get to know them. And then, like you said, if you miss something at convention, come back, call them up and say, hey, it was me. Do you remember me? I spoke to? Oh, yeah. So I forgot to ask you this question. Do you mind? No, I don't mind. So then, now you've established a relationship. You definitely also want to get around the carriers, the insurance carriers, or people at the corporate office and staff from the alliance, because you need to get to know those people for when you need help. So like if you get around Bruce Burak from Foresters and talk to him, and later on you submit an application for Foresters, I love Foresters, but Foresters has been known to be very persnickety with their paperwork, their electronic apps and all that, and their underwriting. So if you get some kind of email or something and you don't understand it, you can contact Bruce and say, hey, what's this about? And Bruce can say, oh, you need to do this. So, and then he can help push that through for you. So, you want to do that. You want to get around the corporate staff. Like, you want to know how to send out cards for people's birthdays, or how to send out cards and say, hey, if you just recently came across $4 million, let me help you diversify it. Get around someone like Clay Murtis, and he'll show you how you can use get out, reach, and touch people with the cards and everything. So you want to get to know the staff and stuff like that. When you have your dinner or lunch break, whatever, don't just sit with some of the new people. Sit with someone who's experienced and pick their brains and talk to them and ask them questions. So this is a whole thing for Reno, so that you can get better at this. I don't know if that helps.
It does. You brought up two things that I wrote down as you started talking, because you said, get to know people before you know them. And you nailed them both, staff and carriers. It was funny when one of our meetings that we had in Cancun, I don't know if you guys remember, but the Transamerica rep stood up, Steve something. And he was like, looking forward to getting to know you guys at Transamerica or at Reno. He said, I know, like, you guys need to get to know us, because when y'all call a 1-800 number, good luck. Right. And I know you guys have been on the phone 30, 45 minutes with a carrier. So there'll be underwriters there. There will be carrier reps there. And these guys, if you've ever noticed, if there's a problem, like, I always have the carrier's number to give. I think Steve Finney was asking the other day about Americo being down, and nobody had responded, but I had Derek's number, who's our rep over there, who, if they don't know the answer, they know somebody that does. Now, getting in touch with the underwriters, that's a whole different ball game, right? Like, that is, when you get an underwriter that begins to like you, they will start pushing things through for you. There is a political side to this business when it comes to the carriers, right? So if they like you, they'll get stuff done for you. So get to know them. See, they will help you get stuff pushed through. And then you're not reaching out to some random Joe Schmo every time. You're reaching out to Steve with Transamerica and figuring out which underwriter to talk to. And he's going to put you in touch with somebody that's going to help you out. So great points, Robert. Thank you for speaking up. And the whole thing kind of stemmed. There was a funny conversation I had last conference, and they were like, well, why aren't we all sitting together? Why aren't we, they were coming from MLM background, where it's like, oh, Team Dynasty's over there and Team Elite's over there. And like, they were all, they all sit together. Well, ours is a little different, right? I want you guys sitting around people that you almost don't know. Like when Robert was talking about sitting down at lunch, go sit down with somebody who their name, like a Megan Wood or a Mike Leventovich, or the guys in this industry that are just dominating, and sit down with them and pick their brain. Don't feel like you got to stick around that. Like, this isn't one of those where it's like, oh, there's Team AMG over there. Like, that's cool. But it's like, I want you guys associating more than that. And usually when we stick together in a pod like that, we stay in that pod, like a pod of dolphins or something. So hey, I've been thinking about dolphins ever since the lady came in. All right, cool. Everybody good on that? Cool. All right. Hey, I had another interesting conversation in Cancun, and it was with somebody that's organization's doing about double what mine's doing. And so I always I like if you'll find me picking their brain like nonstop because I just want to see like there's so many little things that they tell me about where I'm like, huh, I should try something like that. And then I'll start implementing those things. But I was talking to him and I was saying, hey man, look, your organization has multiple people. I mean, like 10 plus people doing over 20K issue paid a month. Some of them are doing 80, 100K a month. And I'm like, how do I get what can I do that you did to get people producing more so that they can, and I'm really asking this not from a place of how can I increase my volume through a team, is how do I get more of you guys making 20, 30, $40,000 a month in your bank account? That's really kind of where my question was coming from. And so he tells me to pull out this report. And so just in case, like when you guys become agency manager, I think it's RM and above, you start getting all these reports. And I'm like a beaver, so I'm like really into data, like all the charts on ARC, like they make me really happy. And so he told me to pull up my lead report, which I see what everybody on the entire team is investing as far as leads. And so he tells me to pull it up and I say, okay. And so I pulled it up and he said, well, that's your problem right there. He said, you don't have enough people investing money into their business. And so I'm really trying to identify a couple people who want to talk and who want to talk about how to look at this from more of a business perspective than a sales job. Because we have a lot of people buying $200 worth of leads. Some are buying 200 a month worth of leads and expecting a heck of a turnout, right? And so it's just kind of that mindset of how much are you investing in leads and what are you expecting your return to be? Because I can give you guys an idea what the returns look like. Every $100 you spend should turn into $1,000 worth of annualized premium. So if you're only spending $200 a month, you can only really expect $2,000 annualized premium. And some people are trying to figure out how much to invest. Well, let's talk about it. But what I can tell you is a lot of times, like if you guys would create a seed fund for yourselves, because most people who don't have money to put towards leads, it's not because they're not making money. It's because they're taking the money they're making and spending it on stupid stuff. Like I'm just being real. Like instead of taking the $600 that you made and investing it back in leads, you're spending it on a vacation, right? So, but like if you took that $600 worth of lead or $600 and invested it in leads instead of on that vacation or whatever, then you could turn that 600 into $6,000 annualized premium. And then you'll have more play money. What I'm like, I would encourage you guys to do is take the money that you're making and invest it back into your business for a couple of weeks. That way that becomes seed money. Yeah, you might have a couple sacrifices, but that's what goes into building a business. I spend money like nobody's business on my business. It's just what we got to do because I've seen the growth come from investing more money into the business. Like staff people are not free, but it's a heck of an investment. Leads are not free, but it's a heck of an investment. I know I can get a really good return on my money if I invest it back and then I have more money to play with. So I take way cooler vacations, but I still have that because I have seed money. I have money, like money just flowing in, right? It's like I created a river out of the money through investments. It's kind of the same thing like with any investment. You're really trying to create a river, right? You're trying to create that residual income. So anyway, if you guys like, I really would love to talk to a couple of you that are like, you know what, I'm not making the type of money that I want to make. And I know I'm not investing enough in leads and I'm really not looking to talk to people who are just like, want to blame everything on the, about what's not going on. I want to talk to the people who know they're not living up to their full potential and that they want to take it to the next level because that's really who I got time to spend and invest in. So if you want to chat about ways that we can get your lead investment up so that you can start making money. And shout out to those of you that are investing in yourself to go to Reno. For the ones that haven't made an excuse, thank you. Like you will appreciate this once you get done with Reno. It's going to be, and I think that's going to help out. You talk about lead investments. Don't take it from me. Ask other people that are doing really well in this business how much they're spending on leads. I always use Stephanie as an example, or like Rojas, because I know how much they spend on leads. I spend $1,000 a week, but most everybody would look at that and be like, oh my God, well, they worked their way up to that. They created that seed money for themselves. They stayed at home instead of going on that vacation that they really couldn't afford or buying those clothes that they really shouldn't have bought where they could have invested it back into their business. So, and I've done a call breaking down lead investments to you guys before. I'll try to find that because I think I had it all written out and did like a screen share of kind of what your investment should look like to make X amount versus if you're only spending this much, what it looks like. So um, anyway, I won't harp on that too much, but I really, really, really would like to talk to a few of you who are in that stage of like, I'm ready to take this to the next level. It's really a decision. It's nothing else than a decision. That's all it is.
Hey, Brandon,
Yeah,
I take about 2 minutes on that or 1 minute on that.
sure. Yes.
Okay. So, a lot of people come up to me and they say, "Hey, I want to talk to you. You're always crushing it. You're always at the top of the leaderboard. How do you do it and all that?" First of all, I've been doing this for almost 12 years. September will be 12 years. So I've gotten better over the years, gooder and gooder, as Andy says, better and better. When I first started, my lead bill was about 250. Then 250 became about 400. 400 became about 600. Then 600 came about 800. Then next year I was doing 1,000 a week. Okay. So I slowly built up my muscle for that. So this is how I explain it to people. So let's say you have about a small group of people, like 4 or 5 people for a birthday party. So you're going to make a cake for about 4 people. Okay. So you're going to have small ingredients. Okay. But let's say now you find out you're going to have about 100 people at a birthday party. Well, you're not going to use the same exact ingredients to make a cake for 100 people. You're going to increase the ingredients, increase the flour, increase the water, increase the eggs, increase the sugar and all that. So it's the same thing with this. So whatever you want to make, spend that much money, throw a zero on the end, and that's how much AP you should write. So if you want to make $1,000 a week, then you should spend about $1,000 on leads. So that's actually I'm sorry, 10,000. If you want to make 10,000 a week, you should spend $1,000 in leads. So it's the same thing with like let's say you're having a 4th of July picnic. If you're having a small picnic, just a few family friends over, you're gonna have like maybe about like 250 of money or $200 of money to buy for hamburgers and hot dogs and steaks and chicken on the grill and all that. But if you're going to have like 500 people over your house, you're not going to spend 250 for the barbecue because your people are going to come over. They're going to be pissed at you, like, "Hey, like you're supposed to be providing for us. You're the host, and like we ran out of food like in 5 minutes. Like, what's the deal here?" So it's the same thing with us with what we do. Whatever you want to make, you got to put some money into it. You have to spend a little bit of money to make a lot of money. So people are afraid to spend $100 or $200. They're not going to make money. So, I'm not saying you have to spend $1,000 a week to make 10,000 right away. No, slowly build up your resistance. Slowly build up your muscle, your strength, and your faith. I like I said, started 250 a week, and then I got myself up to 500, then 800, then 1,000. So you're dead on with that, Brandon. Way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. It's like Andy always says, it's a funny but dumb saying. He's like, you can't expect to eat like a butterfly and poop like an elephant, right? It's kind of like that same mentality. You gotta invest in your business. If you want to stay in that, like you saw me do the 4 quadrants, if you want to stay in that self-employed side, like I'm here, I'll support you. But building a business out of this, you guys gotta invest. Like it's one of those things. Even if you're doing a self-employed, you gotta invest, but it makes more sense when you're doing a business wise. Oh, hey, one more thing. And then we'll talk about Cancun for a minute, see if anybody's got any memories they want to share. So I was thinking about this opportunity meeting that we're doing, and I think it's going well. By the way, like nothing that I'm going to say is like set in stone. I'm just trying to get a feel for it. I was talking with Mike, I was talking with Jeff, and I was thinking like, okay, if we're doing these every week, like I think last week we did 42 and we had like 5 new people, which is great, right? I want to keep you guys engaged as well on coming on those calls, because it looks a lot better getting on a call as a brand new person and seeing 40 plus people on there than it does seeing 10, right? So I want to keep you guys engaged with those as well. And I know I'm asking you guys to be on those weekly. What's your thoughts on maybe doing it like, let me ask this, would it help to give you guys more time? So like, let's say we started doing these bi-weekly. So twice a month, we did an opportunity meeting. I'm 100% okay to keep doing it every week, but would anybody want to speak up like on their thoughts on if we moved it to bi-weekly, would that help or hurt? Any thoughts there from anyone?
I think bi-weekly would be okay, as long as the weeks that we don't have it, that you have the recording from last week
Yeah.
available.
Yeah. Well, we always got that recording available. So, I think that's helpful too. I'm glad you said that. I want to say something about that too. Anybody else?
I'm with bi-weekly. The opportunity.
It's perfect. I think the first time and it's awesome to send out, but bi-weekly. So as we get
Bi-weekly.
those 2 weeks.
Bi-weekly. Y'all are thinking about weekly. Where's John? John on here? I didn't even asked him. Yeah, he's on here. John, give me some feedback. Where you at?
Yo,
There you are. What you think?
what up?
What's your thoughts?
I
Somebody who knows the social media game like that. What do you think?
I think the issue really comes down to, do we have a group of people who are willing to commit to putting new people on the call every week? We can't force anybody to do that, and we're not trying to. All right. But ultimately, if there are people who want to grow their business, that is the by far, using that Facebook group we set up and plugging people in, over the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday into a Monday, is a massive, massive tool for growing and scaling an organization. The people who come, who can't make it, or Tuesday, Wednesday, you're talking to them and you don't want to make them wait till the following Monday, that recording is huge. Just add them to the group, tag them in the comment. I'm leaning towards keeping it every week, but that's just me, because I would rather have a live exposure than a recording. But the recording I'm grateful for, but there's something about energy of live interaction and people feeling like they're a part of something that's moving quickly in a certain direction. You can't replace the event. It's like, Reno. Okay. If we said, hey, we'll give you all a recording of the event. Okay, cool.
I agree with that.
But there's nothing that replaces being there. The live interaction, the consistency, being, hey, this is a group that's moving, and we don't want to miss the movement. So I think really what it comes down to is who's serious about contributing to this as a large block in their schedule. Who's serious about making the effort to make this count. Not just something we do, but something we do with intent to put people in front of, whoever the speaker is, if it's Brandon, whoever, right? So I lean towards keeping it once a week, and I would hope to see it be something we could do multiple times a week because of the demand.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
But if the demand's not there as we get started, then, I think Monday, everyone knows, hey, this call's happening. Come hell or high water, whatever it is, we're doing this, and so, Brendan, that's something you and I can get together and talk about, that presentation that we shared, being able to have something to where we could plug anyone into that context and they could facilitate that call.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And that's a good point. I like doing, I think it's good. I think it's just, if we're going to do it every week, what you just said was right. We got to be intentional about inviting 10 people a week to it. Because really it's like the old hotspots that we used to do. That's what this essentially is. Right. But, when you invite 10 people, if all 10 show up, great. But the reality of it is 20% of them are going to show up, maybe 30. So you got 2 to 3 people. But if you invite 4, well, now you got 1 person showing up. So it's not going to help your business scale as fast. So you just got to be, I think we got to be more intentional. And I think we've gone over that pretty well of how to do that. And I know some of you guys are utilizing that. I just heard Mike talking to somebody Michelle Mitchell found on Facebook. So I can tell some of you guys are utilizing the things that are being told, and getting people in front of us to talk. And another thing is, like, I've been talking with John and Mike about this, and I really need to create like a actual presentation so we can plug in people. And I'm going to ask some of you guys to come out your comfort zone and do these opportunity calls, because you just don't know what it does for the the person that's listening in for the first time. If you got when you have multiple different personalities, and I'll even try to bring in some people from other organizations, because like I'm pretty direct, straight to the point with what we do. Terry Edwards is a really good example of somebody who's he's he's very he's very good and direct to the point, but he makes you laugh probably more than I do. And so some people relate to him more. So I'm going to ask some of you guys, because to step up and do some recordings so we can get a different flavor from everybody, right? And I want to create that presentation because I want there to be some format to what you're saying. But I don't want to take away from you. I don't want to tell you step by step what to say, because I don't want to take away some of your creativity or some of the things that you might include that I wouldn't, that somebody relates to, right? So be on the lookout for that. If that makes you nervous, you're probably one of them. So, and anybody who wants to do those, let me know. Because I'd love to plug some people in. I don't want to do it every week. And it's not because I'll be on it every week, but I just don't want me to be the only voice coming. And if you invite somebody and you're the one doing the call, I mean, it stands up, it stands out, right? So, anyway, that's all I really had for today's call. Man, we just got back from a 10-day trip in Cancun. Some of us 7, some of us 10. It was an absolute blast. I got to know a lot of you much better, just seeing you guys in person. It was the first trip for a couple of people that we had on it. One of many trips for others. And we had a blast. I remember we did our team outing. We did like the first couple nights. We had 12 people, I think, because Jeff and Jen weren't there, so it was 12. We had 12 people at the dinner table. We were going, they played every song an American would know. There's these 3 girls walking around singing, and it was basically like a karaoke night. And I got videos. I got Sue Love playing piano. I mean, just like memories. And I know I was sitting there talking with Jeff, and I was like, it's just crazy to think about the next 10 years, the things that we're going to have to look back on. Because I hear stories from like, Leventoviches and Riddle and Albright about things that they've done throughout the years. And I'm just so excited to do that with some of you guys. And hopefully all of you guys, like the thing that sticks out to me the most is like, okay, we had 14 people in Cancun. How do we double or triple that for Ireland? And I think some of you guys that are coming to Ireland, and for the record, I'm sorry, Reno, for the record, it's not too late to come to Reno. I had to get a last minute ticket for my mom. And you know what? It's worth it to me to get her there. It's worth it to get her a room. So it's not too late. We've got plenty of tickets left over. Well, at least I do. I'm basically, if you got somebody with a plane ticket and a hotel room, I will give them a ticket until I run out. Okay. You just heard that on this call. If you got somebody, I need proof of a plane ticket and a hotel, I will give them a ticket to come. So take off what's that? A couple, that's right now the tickets are $400 a piece. I'll give it to them for free. So, but I want people there, and some people are like, that's not a good idea, Brandon. I don't care. I want you guys there. Like I want you there more than I care about that $200 initial investment that I made, or 400, whatever, So, let me know if anybody there. Well, before I go into that though, any memories from any of you guys on the trip that y'all wanted to share about Cancun?
I'll go first.
Go.
Okay. So, Spencer, I know that you were not happy and you wanted to mute me, but dude, the reason why we were doing all that, why we were sending all those videos, is because we want you guys to have FOMO big time. We want
I was
you
about to
guys-
say you don't need stories because we saw all your pictures.
we want you guys to have FOMO. We want you guys to have envy. We want you guys to be like, damn, look at them, they're having a great time, because we want you guys to come with us to Ireland. So we're trying to make the pain sear a little bit, like a steak on the grill, so that you can feel it, so that you can say, well, whatever I got to do, I got to qualify for Ireland. So that's the purpose of it. Plus, we want to show you that these trips are real. It's not welcome to Wally World, and Yeah, I just love watching my wife smile. That's the biggest thing about these trips. If my wife is enjoying herself, I'm enjoying myself. So my wife loved us swimming with the dolphins and getting to pet the dolphins and everything. She was like in seventh heaven. And where else could I ever get the chance to do that? So um, we had some partying, and yes, Brandon, that night was a little bit rough on some people. I think some people woke up the next morning feeling a little bit hungover, like me. But yeah, we had a great time, and they were like lounge lizards, like walking around singing and everything. And of course, also we had Andy and Jane Albright in the next room over watching us through the glass windows. So it was fun. You get to see the ocean, you get to see different resorts and stuff. I mean, I'm a firm believer of work hard when you work, play hard when you play. So, and the other reason I also like it is because I got to know some people that I didn't know before. Like I got to know Sue Love closer. I got to know her a little bit more. I got to know Tom Murphy a little bit more. I got to laugh and joke with Jeff. I was so glad that Jeff was able to make it. So you guys, you need to qualify for Ireland because also there's a lot of like jokes and stuff and that stuff that happened that unless you were there, well, you're not going to be a part of it and you're not going to be able to share it. Like there was a song on the main trip qualification party that we had, and they had entertainment, and the song was "Getting Hot in Here," so take off all your clothes. And I'm not going to say who, but somebody here started to take off his or her shirt, and it was really comical and funny. But those are things that you need to experience by going there. So that's all I want to say.
That was me. Just to clear that out the air. I had a good time. All right. I don't play. When I play hard. And a lot of you guys know that. So that's okay. I'll take it. Don't even start with me, Brittany Warren. I caught her one night anyway. Yeah, it was, I mean, I had a blast, it was one of those things where it was just you got to be there, right? So it's good to get to know people, but how do we get, and I know where I was going with that, by the way, when I started talking about Reno again, I got off track, but your first time coming, you get 50,000 points and you got to have 135 to get to Reno. Like these trips, I mean, like the gifts. I had Mike come over last night and he was looking at the gifts. He's like, "What? I'm going to Ireland. I'm going to Ireland." Right. So it's like the little things that they do for you while you're there is really another thing that makes the trip special. Every night coming back, just seeing a new gift on your bed. And these aren't crap gifts, right? I mean, it's like jackets with the Alliance on them. There's like, they gave us speakers one night, book bags, right? So a lot of cool stuff there. Yeah, we had a fantastic time. I know, Jeff, I think you were the only one on this call that was there. Other than that, you got anything to say about it?
It's definitely worth pushing for, especially even pushing for the extension. Once you get the regular part of the extension, I was only there for one day of the regular part, which was awesome. And then the extension was just even nicer. But yeah, I was pretty much blown away. Everybody was having such a great time. Relax. You don't have to think about what stuff costs. You just go have fun, do whatever you kind of want during the day. It's just relaxing, socializing. It's so worth shooting for it, and in the meantime, you're making a bunch of money in the first place. And it's just a byproduct of every single year you should be going on an all expenses paid trip. And it's just, to me, I just thought when I was sitting there, I was like, man, this is just so doable. Every single person should be here. And it's not like it's out of the reach of anybody, even new people that are starting right now. And it's just so worth it. The gifts were phenomenal. I tried to make sure that I got the gifts that I missed out on because they were so good. You just don't want to miss it. And just the association is so cool. Just being able to hang out with winners, and it's I'm not going to miss a trip.
Yeah, I've been with the company for almost 12 years, and I've only missed one trip. Back when we first started, we had the Foresters trip, and we had all the other IMOs, all the other insurance companies trip, and I missed the Foresters Fiji Island by like 4 or 5 policies. I was upset. So missing a trip will burn into you, and it'll fire you up. You want to win the base, but you also want to win the extension. And here's the reason why you want to win the extension. We had 240 agents that were at the base trip with us in Cancun. The next day, when they went home and we went to the extension, it was only 29 agents. Okay. And like right now, they've gotten together and they budgeted how much is it going to cost for us to go to Ireland? Projected how many agents do you think will win? Okay. And they always project on the high side. Well, we project about like 400 agents are going to win for the base trip. We project about 100 agents are going to win for the extension. So taking those numbers, they have the money allocated for about 100 agents. If only 29 agents won for Cancun, that means there's more money going around and the gifts are more premier. Like you said, that speaker, which had the nice Alliance logo on it, it's waterproof. I'm going to be singing in my shower now. So, you want to qualify for the extension because you're living larger, you're living nicer. Like the base trips are always great, but if you go to the base trip and then the extension trip, you can see the difference. The extension trip's even more premier, top of the line. So you want to get both trips.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just like you said it while we were there. It's like you get around the best of the best when you get around the best of the best regardless of when you go, but the top producers, the top builders are at the extensions. That's just how it is. Yeah, a lot of fun. And hey, John, you just text me something. You mind saying that out loud? Because that's a good point. And I'm sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I had a call with some guys probably last week, or maybe it was before Cancun, where they had invested heavily in their business and they bought extra tickets to Reno with the intent to get more new people there. Right. Well, everybody's asking me, how do I move these tickets? How do I move these tickets? And my strong encouragement is, how do you move the tickets in your favor, right? How do you capitalize on your intent of why you purchased them in the first place? So there are people looking for jobs in Reno. There are people in the surrounding areas of Reno. I mean, when we do an event here in Burlington, people will literally drive an hour, right, from Raleigh, and they'll go home, right? Or whatever the situation is, Winston-Salem, and they'll go home, right? So I would be looking at job postings. I would be posting jobs on Craigslist. I would be on social media sites, using it as a database, using Facebook primarily as a database, getting into these groups and finding out where people are who are close to Reno within driving distance, because you're eliminating the biggest excuses a week out, right? The week out is travel, cost through the roof, hotel expenses. Can they come up with both? If you could eliminate that and have someone local who can go home and eat, who can have their own place to stay, who don't have to purchase a $1,500 airline ticket, okay, whatever. Remove those objections and start hiring locally. Get them plugged in. Get them on this opportunity call tonight. Get them in the recording tomorrow. Get them plugged into the system so that when you've got them fast-tracked and they're committed to getting in class or they're moving forward, you could then say, oh, hey, by the way, this is crazy, but we've got this event. It's once in a lifetime. And I'm telling you right now, you want to be in this room with the high performers. You want to be in this room with the best trainers the industry can produce. You want to be there. You really can't afford to miss it. I've got a ticket at the original cost right now. The cost is $500. I can get it to you for $200. And if they say, hey, I can't figure out how to come up with 200, cut them a deal. I'll give it to you for 100, but I need some skin in the game. Or if it's the last day, and it's Friday and you still have an extra ticket, give the damn ticket to somebody who will show up, because the goal was to get people in the room. The goal wasn't to sell it to another organization. The goal wasn't to enrich someone else's organization. It was to build your business. So start hiring locally. Start finding people who could get there and remove those objections of travel and hotel costs and things like that. Get engaged fully this week, pumping out ads through Craigslist or whatever, or getting on Facebook and finding people locally that you can allocate those resources to so it benefits your business, not someone else's. So anyways, that I hope that helps, guys, but that's where you should be focused on. That's where you should be focused on. And the worst thing that could ever happen is you have a loss that you could write off on your taxes. But guys, don't fail to make the effort. Don't fail to be committed to what you originally committed to with your money. Make sure your money's backed up by your attitude and your actions to get someone there to benefit from the event and to benefit from just the complete experience, not just what they're going to learn and grow, you know, in terms of understanding the business, but the relationships. Those relationships are key. It's relationships that build dynasties. And, you know, not everybody could be in Cancun, but we've got Reno. We've got Reno. So we got to focus on building these relationships with the right people. And that happens at these types of events. So Brandon, I hope that clarifies what I was trying to text you.
I'm gonna challenge me and Mike. How many people can we go into in a social media group, right? On Facebook, a group, and target network marketing, target real estate. I mean, these are people that know conferences, right? How many of them can we get to Reno before now and Friday?
You can literally target any group. You can target real estate. You can target insurance people. You can target anybody you want. And just ask the damn question: who lives near Reno? Who's within driving distance of Reno? And you'll get people who respond. Then private message them. Start a conversation with them. Hey, what are you doing? What's it like? What's your thoughts? What are you most excited about? Start a normal conversation about sales in Reno and say, hey man, look, I've got this crazy event coming, multi-millionaires, some billionaires going to be there. You want to get in this room? I've got an opportunity for you if you're keeping your options open. But get into promotion mode. Get into promotion mode and start selling your ass off to get somebody quality to take that ticket off your hands so that they can partner and expand with AMG. You know, the goal wasn't to ship these tickets to other organizations. It was to build this organization, to build your business. So I just want to make sure everybody understands, like, hey, it's crunch time. Okay, it's a 2-minute drill. You got a freaking football game to win. You got to move the ball down the field. You got to run the plays that makes most sense to get us there. Let's run this play and let's make sure we get the right people in the room.
That's right. I like that. That's a great point. We've talked about this, but we got to implement this stuff. All right, guys, I've kept y'all far too long. Let's go get them. I'm so excited to see some.
Brandon, if you think you need to be invited to Reno, you don't need to be invited. But if you still think you need to be invited to Reno, I'm letting you know right now, it doesn't matter whether you're brand new or whether you're just thinking about starting with the Alliance or you're one of the top people in the company, you're invited to Reno.
I love that from one of our conversations, but all right, guys. Well, yeah, you are invited. If we didn't make that clear back in January, you were invited to this conference. When we put tickets on sale, you were also invited. So anyway, all right, let's go get them, guys. Let's make a little contest out. Let's see who can get the most people there with inside of the week. Keep your numbers posted in the WhatsApp and let's get after it. Later, guys.
Thanks, Brandon.